Hi all, I have another amazing game of Leela ID 11041 to show you. So black against the Fire 7.1 engine. David Grosvenor, back from holiday, provides this amazing game. It's a time control of 40 moves per 2 minutes with a 2-second increment per move. The opening book is Symmetrical English territory. So here E6 end of book. We have E3, Knight C6, Bishop E2, Bishop C5. Both sides castle, Knight C3, D5, Knight takes, B takes, B3. So it's not really that unusual, this position at the moment, except this defensive knight is not there, and so maybe there's some sort of dark square issues to think about. We have Queen E7, which supports the bishop and also supports E4, E5 maybe sometimes. I mean E5, E4, Bishop B2, Rook D8. So the queen gets out of the way on that D file. And now E5. We have Rook FD1. And now Bishop E6. So this connects the rooks. Hello, hello. Knight A4, Bishop D6. And now Rook AC1 is played here. And now a really curious move. I wonder if you can guess it. Most engines just don't. It just doesn't register on their radar. So a fascinating move. 5 seconds. Black's play. H5. It provides provides a peg, but not only that, maybe the dreaded form pawn threat. The form pawn threat is stronger than the execution, as Nimzowitsch didn't say. No, he said the threat is stronger than the execution. So the form pawn threat here. Now white plays H3. Tactically, what is actually going on here with H5? Well, if Bishop F1, let's get a taste of what's going on here. Rook AC8, say F3, E4 opens up against H2, and this could be very dangerous for white, this position. A4 is a bit of an issue. That could be taken off. This is just a fictional scenario, and it turns out that, you know, black might be better here, as an example. You might think, well, was that played really well? What about King H1? Knight G4 hits F2. If Rook F1, D4, and this is tries to rip open that diagonal. So ED, ED, we've got pressure on H2. This position is also very uncomfortable. Threatening checkmate. Bishop H3. This could get very uncomfortable very quickly, it seems. Black having a big advantage. So let's look at Rook E1. And now H4 with form pawn threats. You might think that's stopped. But now Knight E4 looks at F2. And there's also things like Queen G5 here. And you might think, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Bishop F5 threatening Knight G3 to win the Queen. Queen gets out of the way. But now D4 trying to open up this diagonal again. So this position, this is starting to be really unpleasant really quickly on H2 now. All because of a defensive knight not being there. And this position there's also even the tactical Knight G3. Look at this. This could lead to a total disaster for white. So all these variations seem to be springing. And one last one to look at, the very, very tactical Knight C5, based on CD hitting, trying to get the material back. Bishop takes, C takes. In this position, black has Bishop G4. And this is just winning for black. There's no time to take on C5 because that loses E2. Piece up. And if taking on G4, knight takes, queen takes, there's Queen H4 here, hitting F2 and H2. So that's just horrible as well. So there's a lot of good things which seem to be happening in this position. And H3 might deprive at least some of them, so knight C5 might be possible, which is white's kind of strength on this board here, the C file. But now against this Knight C5 possibility, without these hooks on G4, without G4 being available, Leela just plays Rook AC8. So this Knight C5 is definitely ruled out by Rook AC8, amongst other things. If we tried H4 here, it just doesn't work so well. Knight C5 is actually the invisible threat. Bishop takes, C takes here. And then Queen takes is leading white to a small advantage. Whatever happens here. So that is a concern. So Rook AC8 addresses the Knight C5 concern at the very least. And then we have the unusual King F1. And now Leela just goes crazy. She goes into full Nesmetanov Tau mode. Guess what she plays? And this is what makes Leela like the top engine to watch, just for fun games, if nothing else. Even if Leela ends up at 3,500, that would be stronger than most engines, and just super entertaining. But yeah, she's just getting stronger and stronger. But here, super entertaining. G5 move is played. What is this? This is rule breaking. This is moving pawns around the king. Okay, let's see. F4 is tried by white. G takes, E takes, D4. And this establishes a nice advanced central pawn. And look at this, C5 shutting out the bishop. White is seemingly getting positioning done over. Check, king F8, F takes, bishop takes, rook F3, and now knight G4. The attack is being unleashed here. Knight G4, king G1 is played. On HG, this is just so dangerous. This variation is just really bad for white. And you might wonder, well, why not just move the rook? The thing is, queen H4, look at this attacking scenario. It's just, the black just gets a really vicious attack with this bishop shut down. The knight's out of the game. Might as well be in Siberia. So yeah, you've got pieces on the queen side not really helping here. So king G1, this is hunting season now. Queen G5. Bishop F1, now knight H2. Rook F2, bishop G3. White just gives up the exchange here, doesn't bother moving the rook even. There's too many loose things in the position. If rook E2, then bang, D3. And then here, bishop F4. So white ends up losing a ton of material there. If we look at this position as well, rook D2, bishop F5 then. There's unfortunate pressure on these diagonals. This, bishop takes H3, this is just absolutely crushing stuff. So very, very dangerous position. Rook D1 is played. Bishop G4, rook D3. You might think, well, hang on, what about HG? Knight takes. What does white do here? Yeah, this is just, it's just really unfortunate. That would seem to be the best move, which is not a good sign. I think if something like this, then just queen H4 is very, very dangerous if nothing else. So rook D3 is played. Bishop takes F2 check. Now knight takes F1. Bishop F5. So black is the exchange up, with these pieces a bit awkward on the queen side at the moment. Bishop G6 here. Queen drops back. Okay, threatening rook takes G6. Rook D6 parries that. Queen E4 holds everything together. Nice central attacking move. Queen B1 forcing the exchange of queens off. Now we have rook G5. Rook G6. Rook takes H5. Rook E8. So G4, because rook E2 might be very dangerous for G2. The G pawn gets out of the way. But yeah, clearly black's in the driving seat now. F5 just damaging white's king safety a bit and creating this now, because white doesn't take, because there's quite a lot of dangers here. We have this very dangerous G pawn instead now. So this makes the conversion much easier. Rook E5, that's taken. This tactical check is the idea. But here, after rook G3, bishop E1 is played, just giving a piece away. And you might wonder why. It's this pawn, it's really dangerous. If we look at an alternate move, knight C6 as an example, taking here and then taking here, this scenario, if the pawn's ever protected, then there's rook A1 check. So this scenario is extremely dangerous. White tries to defend against G1, but really to no avail. There's this other pawn over here, and then bishop D3. It would just be absolutely winning for black. So this is actually a hopeless position when this was played. This is like capitulation because of this fork. So that knight on E5 is taken, and now yeah, the pawns are not really going anywhere. Rook B3 is scooping one of them up, hitting the bishop. Now yeah, they're not really going anywhere, these pawns. They're being mopped up, and it's here that actually it was adjudicated as a win for black. Black can simply just take this dangerous pawn out of the equation, for example. So yeah, fire was set on fire there. The king's side was on fire. So curious game. You have these absolutely cavewoman attacks. H5, G5. Try and get your normal engine to try and prompt H5. I'm not sure it will, basically. So Leela has a sixth sense for dark square issues. And you might think, well, is that form pawn or is that dark square attack? The threat of the form pawn is enough to cause white some panic, it seems. Yeah. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this game. A really fun one again. Comments, questions, likes, shares appreciated. Thanks so much.